Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Sunday, February 27th, 2022, a little after 3 p.m. Eastern. Our every movement in this life contains the divine movement. Every breath we take is divinity breathing through you. Every word you speak today is divinity sharing its voice through you. Every choice you make today is divinity guiding its divine plan through you. It's actually impossible for you to mess up or take a wrong turn, as all actions are filled with grace. So go ahead, take more risks, because a life without risks is an unlived life. Something bigger than you is always guiding your way. So you can really go for it and have fun with it. And most of us, as the older we get, the less risk we take. And the less risk we take, the older we get. So our age is accelerated because of not taking risks. You are the supreme being, and yet thinking yourself to be separate from it, you strive to become united with it. Now, what is stranger than this? You are it, and you strive to become it. Every human being has a destiny. Now, the destiny, interestingly enough, is not etched in stone. Our destinies are written in the sand, so we can change our destinies. We were born with a purpose and mission to be alive, each of us, to be in physical form. And we each have the direction, divine guidance, and essential fuel we need for this great spiritual journey that we're all on into enlightenment. We can sometimes believe that we can upgrade or downgrade our life mission as we become fearful or spiritually sidetracked. We may even try to switch tracks and change what the final destination should be. Yet the core mission always remains the same: to realize that we are one with divinity. Our spiritual paths are like a long set of trains that are all connected and riding on one long spiritual railroad track around this planet. This track carries everyone into the most beautiful sunsets and sunrises for an eternity. It is an infinite train track, spiraling through an eternity of time and endless space. There is no possible way to step off the track without moving on to another one. We are all destined for the greatest and most divine plan anyone could ever imagine. This universe is super duper intelligent, and it has already laid out the perfect plan for you. You just need to, or choose to know, how to follow it. This means you get clear enough with yourself so you can see the path a few steps ahead of you. That's all you need, just to see your next few steps. You don't need to see what's hidden ahead miles down the road. That would spoil the fun, wouldn't it? What if we could always see everything all the time? All the time. It would get boring. But when it comes down to the greatest truth of life, this life, we find it's where quantum science and spirituality meet and merge as one. This basically means that all physical and non-physical matter in the entire universe is made of pure divine conscious intelligence. How does this make you feel to know that everything around you and inside of you is made of pure energy and an intelligent consciousness? I find personally that only when I have a very patient, quiet, and receptive mind Can I actually believe this? Now, sometimes can hear this divine intelligence and listen to its guidance when I'm really patient and receptive. When you're impatient, you're not receptive, you are not going to really feel it, hear it. When your mind is quiet, and the deeper the truth can be heard. So the quieter the mind, the deeper the truth can be heard. When we are truly listening to life, it tends to nudge us instantly onto our deepest path, which ultimately serves our soul's highest purpose and mission. No matter what hand of cards that we've been dealt in this lifetime, we must choose to realize one thing. Everything is happening for you, not to you. Everything is happening for you, not to you. And that's right. You're not a separate being from this universe on any level. Whatsoever you come across is God. You, the people you love, the people you hate, are all manifestations of God. The moment one recognizes that all as one, love arises on its own accord. Osho. You can summon this divine experience sooner rather than later. You can encourage your heart to blaze forth fearlessly and merge with the highest light the universe has to offer. This is perhaps the reason why you are reading and listening to anything that connects you to the divine. You already have access to the most sacred, holy essence at the heart of the God source. You already, every one of us. There is a great, glorious future awaiting us all. It is just up ahead. Feel into this. Know it is a future filled with laughter, love, and freedom. Follow this calling, and it will empower you and enlighten you. You will connect with your heart's true divine nature and feel its higher intelligence guiding you everywhere you go. This sacred source inside you is the very foundation of your being. Your life mission is to let that God source blossom and show itself out in your world. Let it show up in the most amazing, kind, and creative ways, more than anyone could fathom. This ultimate unfoldment of your highest potentiality is what you can call your divine destiny. It is the ultimate life. Where are you? Is that you are perpetually fulfilled on every level, living in a state of pure awe of the amazing life you are here to live. Now, we're going to try something out. Are you open to playing a little game? I invite you to imagine right now, every one of us, that everyone on earth right now has signed up long before they incarnated, made a commitment, so to speak, to play a secret role in being your personal life guide and spiritual mentor. Everyone is spiritually undercover. Everyone is secretly here to make sure that you stay on track and reach your final soul's goal of enlightenment. Every soul is part of the one, working together as a team for the one. The entire humanity all has the same core purpose. Everyone is awakening to the greatest light within. And by awakening it within you, they get to see it inside themselves. This highly undercover spiritual enlightenment project is super complex, has many facets to understand, meaning some souls are like double agents and will misguide you purposely so that you're pushed deeper behind your ego mind, so that you stretch yourself and create a super solid connection with the light within. So it may appear that these hardened, harsh, negative people are working for the bad guys. Yet, when you pull back your mind's layer of judgment, your spiritual eyes can see how they are also working for the light. You can see now how everything is happening for you, not to you, and for your highest good. We don't often see what's really happening on a spiritual level underneath the surface. Yet, if you stop everything, let go of all the chaos, look behind the mandatory mask, behind the misfortune, behind people's irrational behavior, behind the fear, you'll see how it's all amazing fertilizer for humanity's awakening. We are healing something very deep in the collective subconscious. The world, this world, is continuously ascending to higher levels of consciousness. We are being challenged on the surface, yet growing exponentially underneath. Nobody ever became truly great without facing some incredible challenge. Everything that's happening right now is redirecting you to dive even deeper into revealing the highest source of consciousness within you. You must choose to make all the unconscious parts of you conscious. This is the enlightenment process. Enlightenment is not what you think it is. It is the deepest letting go of all the ideas you formulated about who you are and what you think reality is. It is a process of perpetual destruction of the ego until there's nothing left but the pure light from within. It's not some separated individual awakening process and experience. It is awakening as being an integral part of the one. The infinite depth of the connection to the divine intelligence within you, within all of us, is real. When we recognize this, we will discover that who we truly are, is the greatest love, freedom, and truth anyone could ever imagine. It is all available. And there are many ways you can discover it. You are here to align with your divine destiny. And here are 3 essential steps to making it manifest. The first step to align ourselves with our divine destiny is to welcome the understanding, energy, and deep connected feeling in your body 24 hours a day that everything in this universe is happening for you, not to you. Every soul in this world is always trying to enlighten you by awakening your highest energy, consciousness, and power. And yes, many souls are fulfilling their task in a very backward way by pushing you into feeling more of your pain and your darkness. They do this so that you become stronger in your awareness and movement towards the light. You have to choose to simply let go of fear and trust that this is the truth behind it all. When things seem to flow against you and not through you, it's because you are holding on to something attached to a memory, a doubt, or some sort of fear inside. Attachment always creates suffering. And the pain you feel is your resistance to letting it go and trusting in the light. All of our resistance games, controlling patterns, and manipulation strategies are deeply disguised patterns of the ego. The ego thinks others are the threat. The ego believes in separation. The ego believes in separation. The ego lives in a world of duality where there is not the one at peace, but the many opposing each other. So understand that. Our egos live in a world of duality where there is not the one at peace, but many opposing each other. The ego's job is to take away our connection to the one power. The ego wants us to be that special separate one who is in control and powerful. It means a need to always gain more control, feel more independent, and become more protected as strategies feel more safe and secure. The highest truth in life is the one that is the most liberating. The destiny, which includes the path of welcoming our ego and all the suffering it creates for us, is more freeing than the path which tries to obliterate, transcend, and reject the ego, not acknowledging it as divinity in disguise. We create suffering at times because we are not welcoming the experience we are having. We either try to gain more control of life or feel controlled by life in a negative way. As long as we believe that the ego mind is in charge, we will believe and think and worry that we need to do something to reach our highest good. We completely forget our divinity or our divine destiny is guiding life in every moment along the way. There is an attachment to a separate egoic self that believes if it does not take a certain action, then it will not reach its highest good. It is completely ignored that this brilliant, beautiful light is already here on the inside. The mind lets go in solving its own problems and challenges, forgetting we are all here to have an experience of duality in order to move into oneness. When we awaken that fiercer clarity inside and our intuition aligns to bring out even more aliveness and spiritual clarity into our lives, then we can see how everyone in life is playing a necessary outer role in the grand unfoldment of our spiritual awakening process. This clarity is the essential awakening agent, the missing catalyst for us to step out of any robotic, automated way of thinking and relax into our most trusting, conscious, heart-opening life purpose. Humanity is having to wake up or suffer through the hardest, most painful spiritual fire, the hottest, most painful spiritual fire that's bright enough to burn away all our lifetimes of heavy karma. This group awakening is sometimes what we need to truly let go. If you are burning, then burn if you can stand it. The shame and blame will burn away, leaving you shining radiant and righteously shameless. Elizabeth Cunningham. The second step to align with our divine destiny is learning how to let go of any form of attachment to what you think your destiny should or shouldn't be. If you think about life as a moment-to-moment choice process, it just feels good to choose to know that divinity is guiding everything through life. If you can believe this, or when you do believe this, then it really doesn't really matter so much as to what your ego believes your future needs to be happy. Whatever will be, will be. What's important is that you're able to find inner peace with whatever arises. And this magical ride of peace happens through by trusting that which happens was meant to happen and is always for your deepest and highest awakening. This feeling of trust is what helps us to let go of any attachment forming in our field. Life is going to test you. And if you have an attachment to the idea of what your destiny is supposed to be, that attachment is going to constrict the flow of life and bring about suffering. Life is a perpetual flow. We sometimes get attached to things, people, ideas. I don't think any of us are exempt from that. There is nothing wrong in attachment, yet it's knowing that your level of attachment is what creates your level of feeling free. Your soul chose very wisely. The last step to get rooted in your divine destiny is to realize that within each challenging situation, you always have the choice to respond with trust or fear. It is your choice. It is each of our choices to either respond with trust or fear. This is the spiritual litmus test that shows just how conscious, free, and enlightened you actually are. You have the choice to contract, tighten, and shrink yourself, or you can relax, open, expand in trust, and laugh your way to enlightenment. There is no halfway point between the vibration of trust and fear. It's either one side or the other. The power of relaxation always determines how much trust or fear you can let in. Most people have been taught to reject fear instead of welcome it. And only a master of trust knows how to welcome fear. In every millisecond of this life, you are the one who decides how you want to respond to it. Your moment-to-moment decision is what makes your ride through this life more rough and rocky or full of lightness, gratitude, and joy. For you to truly digest this divine destiny, it's vital that you root yourself in knowing that life is one massive schoolyard and wild playground designed to turn you into an enlightened master. Every experience given by this world is meant to force you to step into becoming a fully self-realized, deeply eternal, loving, enlightened being who is always finding your way home. You are here. We are all here to learn how to master this life, which starts with mastering our minds. To become the minister of your mind, you first choose to heal your negative emotions, your core childhood wounds, and release these pains from your body. Whether this process takes one lifetime or 100,000 lifetimes, it all depends on a simple thing. How much are you willing to let go and surrender to trusting in the greatest love, light, and freedom you can imagine? The more often you can choose this path of trust, the easier it becomes to live this life. The more we practice surrender, trust, and lightness while facing, embracing, and feeling into our deepest darkness, the more empowering our ride becomes. Learning how to let go of an experience is the practice of love. And this letting go energy will increase your ability to receive the next expansive heart-opening experience that's headed your way? What does it take for you to let go and allow this amazing, freeing, trusting force to guide your path in each new living moment? Each one of us has signed up or committed, however you view it, for this divine destiny, so accept yours. My invitation for you is to get really curious about this and really question and challenge yourself every day by asking yourself this question: what will it take for me to be fully committed to making trust the center of my life? What will it take for me to be fully committed to making trust the center of my life? This doesn't mean being a fool and trusting those people who you know are untrustworthy. You trust that. They regard themselves as untrustworthy, and so you're trusting that. This path of making trust the center of your life is the path to your divine destiny. If you cannot trust it, how will you ever be able to relax and know that you're on the right path, following your highest destiny? Trust is the key to feeling this knowingness and letting yourself feel guided. Your life is sacred. And by knowing this truth, your destiny is never, ever going to be a horrible one. Remember that. Each of our lives are sacred. And by knowing this truth, our destiny is never, ever going to be a horrible one. The most divine destiny is the one that brings your life more feelings of joy, appreciation, and gratitude. The specific details of how our destiny will unfold and bestow these beloved gifts to you are only revealed along the journey. If or when you could see how your entire future would manifest, then your life would be super boring. There is the divine element in surprise, not knowing the future. So just practice relaxing into it and allow each day to come to you. You were born from divinity, so your destiny will be an offspring of that energy as well. When you are ripe and ready to feel this divinity inside you, your consciousness will open wide and the most sacred sensations will come flooding in. Complete surrender does not require that you have no desire of your own. You must choose to be satisfied with whatever God gives you, and that means having no desire of your own. Ramana Maharishi. So if you will, go to the place where you're not going to be interrupted, and I'm sure that we all are. And what is the first thing we care to do? It is always our first step. Relax the body. The body, it's got its own movement, it's got its own direction, and we feel it. Remember when you were a child, you didn't know that you could burn your hand, did you? You didn't know when you looked at that stove that it was going to burn you. You had no clue until you put your hand on the stove, and then it hurt like the dickens. It's no difference about anything. We become programmed, and this body we're in becomes programmed through us meaning the ego mind. So the ego mind programs the body. You get an ache or a pain. Immediately the ego jumps out of control and says, "Oh, it's serious. What's going to happen?" Have you ever done that? Things that you've had things you experienced you haven't experienced before with the body. Immediately we ride off into this negative area. Worrying about that it's bad, say, instead of that maybe it could possibly be good. So we focus on our breath. Easy in through the nose, easy out through the mouth, not heavy, deep, gasping breath, but easy in, easy out. And when we do this, we listen to our breath. We don't just breathe, see. Most of us just breathe. We don't listen to our breath. But when you're really in this meditation, you listen to your breath. And as you breathe in and out, the body begins to let go. Our bodies are like a super magnetic sponge, and they absorb everything. Every program thought that we embrace that's not ours, every thought that we generate 60,000 plus a day, it's unending. Okay? And of course, there's the ego mind. The mind is an illusion that creates the ego to assist it, which is also an illusion. Isn't that wild? So our ego minds, none of us are exempt from our ego minds. So with the breath, we still them. We still the ego mind, subconscious mind, which means we leave them alone. All we can do is focus on the now. So that alleviates and moves us out of interacting with the mind, the ego, and the subconscious mind. Isn't that phenomenal? So it stills everything. Also, the mind chatter that we all have, incessant. Every one of us have it. We have it when we're awake. We have it when we go to sleep. We have it 24/7. It never goes away. So when we're in the now, there's no mind chatter. Can you see how motivated we can be by understanding this and embracing this understanding? We can eliminate our mental chatter. We can watch the ego mind, subconscious mind, not judge it, to learn how to master it. Now we understand that the ego, sure as heck, does not want any of us going into the now. Doesn't want us going there. It knows that if we go into now, focus on our breath, and it is stilled, and if it follows us into the now, it will be no more. So you can see the battle that it puts up to keep us any way, shape, form out of the now. Now, when we are in the now and we're focused on the now and our breath, those thoughts flying by like clouds in the sky, tens of millions of them, which aren't ours, they're somebody else's, but yet we're so accustomed, we're so trained to believe they're ours that we grab onto them. Here's where it is very important for all of us to realize that we be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with ourselves at all times. In addition to that, to be of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest eternal love. And gratitude. And peace. So the gratitude, these are paramount. It's to always it doesn't matter what's going on outside. It really doesn't. That's the ego mind. Always be gentle, kind, and generous, and humble. Always be in deep gratitude. Be amazed on how things will shift. Remember, we talk about so many people on this planet, they don't understand, and hopefully each one will choose the time when they begin that journey of understanding, is that the universe is a constant flow. It is divine perfection. It makes no mistakes. Mistakes don't exist. It is always finite, well-engineered, honed, polished, completely. So it sends out a flow of abundance 24/7, endlessly, infinity and beyond. And this flow of abundance is massive. It's humongous. It is so large it can't be described. But see, any of us who lower our vibrational frequencies drop below the flow of abundance. And see, so the abundance is there, but it flows right over us. Not through us, but right over us. This is why so many people become overly attached, right? Overly in expectation, because they think they have to force something. They have to take action to force something or the abundance to come to them. And all along it is. But they've missed it because they've lowered their vibrational frequency. And so they start doubting, and they distrust the universe and themselves. And this is what creates the subterfuge, the backup. And it gets more frustrating. You could be in the flow of abundance. We've all been there, right? And it feels wonderful. It's like a bliss, right? And it is bliss. And then you get upset, or you get angry, or you get stressed, and you start questioning things, and you start doubting things. And it lowers you beneath the flow of abundance, so you're just constantly, it's just flowing over you. This is an absolute fact. Okay? So the abundant flow is always there. Didn't go anywhere. You went somewhere, you dropped below it due to your vibrational frequencies. Now, when you look in this body that you're in, because you know you're not the body, you're not the character, you're not the personality, you're not the name, all of that, you're not. You're the God within that body. So when you look in the body, and the body is relaxed, and your stresses have been subdued or let go of, you see these 7 lights. Now they go from the tailbone to the top of the head. These are spirit etheric energy. And they're vibrant colors, nothing like you would see on this planet. And there's 7 different colors. So they're called chakras on this planet. And chakra is, the definition for chakra is wheel. So these are wheels of light. We are spirit etheric energy. Omnipotently powerful. So we flow through the body. So doesn't it make sense that the gods that we are know everything there is to know about these bodies? Every tissue, every vibrational frequency, right down to the quantum quark. Now, those of us who choose to go on to the journey within, it's an inevitability that we will eventually discover the true gods that we are within these bodies, and that we will also discover, amongst many other things, we are the power of healing. We will eventually be able to heal these bodies in the blink of the eye. It will no longer be a challenge. Now picture in front of you 3 paths. Now, they're not different, and maybe in one way, the where, but the paths are the same. You have one on the left, which is the past, one on the right, which is the future, and one in the center, which is the now. As you gaze upon the 3 paths, you notice that the trees have formed a canopy. And the canopy is of shimmering gold, the leaves, the bark, the branches, everything. And you notice that the path itself appears to be a vibrantly bright emerald green flaming grass. Now, you look at these paths and you say, well, the one I'm standing on, the now, looks brand new. It doesn't even look like anybody has even traversed here. Now, the one on the left, the past, wow, looks very used. The one on the right, the future, wow, looks very used. What we do, see, because the ego mind's in control, right? Controlling us. Now, it doesn't mean we're aware of that. And so as it controls us, it keeps us out of the now, and it pushes us either in the past or the future. Most people on this planet, in this very now, are either living in the past or the future, not the now. That's why these paths are so worn, and the one you're standing on, the now, looks brand new. Now, we all go into the past because we reminisce. These are experiences that we store in our libraries, which is a subconscious mind. The subconscious mind copies everything since you enter that baby body. Voices, opinions, attitudes, viewpoints, anger, hatred, fear, greed, manipulation, power, control. It absorbs it, copies it all, and stores it. That's why from time to time, in order to master your subconscious mind, you say it's time to do some house cleaning. I've got to clean some of these shelves off so I make room for new stuff to come in. So we go into that library door, we open it up, turn on the lights, we grab some movies and some books and pictures off of the shelves. We sit in our easy chair and we watch the movies and enjoy ourselves. Wasn't that a wonderful time? I wish I could do that again. I had such a great time. It was so wonderful. And then other things you'd say, well, you know, I'm visiting this to remind myself not to do that again. And it's a review that we go through. But we don't stay there, see? We put the books and movies back on the shelves and we turn off the lights, shut the door, and move forward. We're always moving forward in this life. Sometimes really slow, sometimes really fast, sometimes medium. But we're always moving forward. Now, some of us will stay there. They won't get out of that easy chair. They'll just live there. And I believe it's not conscious. I believe it's unconscious. And so they stay there so long that they bring that past into a future that doesn't exist. They create that future from that past, and they relive that future, that past, and that future. So that's why a lot of people will say, no matter what we do, we always end up here. Now, we all go into the future, don't we? I don't know of anybody that doesn't want to know their future. Isn't that amazing? Instead of just being in the now and discovering the gods that we are, we want to know the future. We want to know when we're going to have a lot of money, how much money, we're going to have enough money to be happy. We're going to be able to, meet our lifelong romantic partner or relationship. When are we going to be able to do this? When is this going to happen for me? When is that going to happen for me? When am I going to have a new boss? When am I going to have a new job? And it just goes on and on and on. And we're seeking external authority, and all the answers to all of these questions are within us through the gods. It's like when you pray, you're praying to the God that you are in that body, which communicates with the one God, which is all of us, which is all life, the highest supreme value in the universes. Imagine that every time that you pray, you are praying to infinity and beyond of gods, everywhere in all existence, in different galaxies, solar systems, universes, everywhere. Think about that. Feel it. So when you're walking along, you're having a conversation with God. You, the God, in that body. See, it's almost like you're with your best friend, right? You, the God of the universe, and you're just carrying on these conversations. And you're saying, what do you think about that, God? Are we on the right track here? Let me know. Just give me a nudge, okay? It's the same with the universe. Universe, I'm making sure I'm doing the best I can to keep my vibrational frequency at your level of abundance flow. So, and God, let me know if I kind of step off of the rail and I lower my vibrational frequency too much and then I miss the flow of abundance. Or hatred and anger that comes floating into us, right? This is a ridiculous thing that happens with us in the course of the day. And so what we do is that we realize is that we have this unending support, And none of us are alone. See, that's another illusion, to say we're alone. Loneliness is different, because in loneliness, we're drawn to be with someone. We're drawn to interact with others. It's just we're social beings. None of us are real hermits in the bodies I'm talking about. We're social beings. So we like to interact with each other. We like to have friends. We like to have relationships. But we just don't care to be alone. Lonely. Alone's different. Alone is good. Being alone with yourself at times is very healthy, very good. But loneliness is something different. Loneliness is when you're pulled to be with another. And that's loneliness. So there's a difference in two of them, being alone and loneliness. Now we know that the God that enters this body and powers us up is the heaven. There's many names for it, you know, and they're all facets of the one. You know, higher self, spirit, God, God the source, the kingdom of God, the heaven. However you label it, it's all the same. We are the God in the body. So we're the heaven. Heaven isn't a place. Heaven is you. Hell is not a place. It is you. It's how you perceive. It's how you view. It's how you conjure and create. That's how powerful we are. And all that stuff is real sneaky because it's part of the matrix trap. So we are heaven on earth, bodies earth. And every step that we take, we're creating paradise. We're consciously aware. What is consciously aware? Consciously aware means very simply that we know that we are from and of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest, deepest and the purest of the purest, purest, eternal love. It's what we are. It's what we're made of. That's the highest of the highest high vibrational frequencies. Not only that, we shine our light. The light is the love. And we're blasting and saturating and permeating this planet head to toe, inside and out, with our love. Nothing better. It is the highest of the highest high. Cannot escape it. So you got 8 billion of us, just in humanoid form. Now, we're not talking about all the other physical forms that gods are in and inhabiting those forms to experience those forms in physicality. Can you imagine that? Massive. And whether consciously or unconsciously, we are shining our light, the love that we're all made of and from. Now, we may, in this lifetime, some of us, discover that when we decide to leave these bodies and we go out into the sacredness of space, we know we're the light. The love that we are creates the light. We know that there is no other light that we would follow except the light that we are. You see? So the light that comes to you after you leave the body is one of the matrix traps. Does it make any sense? You can ask even the most skeptical part of yourself. Does it make any sense that when you determine to leave the physical form as the God that you are, and that you know that you are of and from the deepest, purest, eternal love, that is a light that shines bright, that never dims and never diminishes, and constantly grows and increases its brightness and intensifies and expands? Why would you even be interested in jumping into a light that follows you? You wouldn't. Now, 1,000 billion light years away, we're still one. Okay? The reason we enter the body is it gives the illusion that we're separate. And it's for our rediscovery to understand that none of us are. Isn't that amazing? These bodies do a lot to teach us many things while we're in them. Now, if you were to take a starship off this planet and you went out far enough where the planet looked like a baseball, right? And you would look at the planet and it glowed. I mean, we've got over 8 billion gods awake and asleep, shining their love light energy everywhere. So you would look at all the lights around this planet, and you would discover what? That they would dim in comparison. They'd be like a candle that was lit in a dark room. Dim, dim, dim. Now, this is all the light energy beings and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. The ones that are asleep, we love them just as deeply and dearly as the ones, parts of us that are awake. They'll determine when they want to wake up. Now, this is the archangels, the cherubim, the seraphim, the archetypes. This is ascended masters, Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Buddha, Lakshmi, Ganesh, Gaia, Saint Germain, Christ, El Morya, Vedantia, Pel, Thoth, Yahweh, Yeshua. All the inhabitants of inner earth, hollow earth, Agartha, and beneath earth. All of our loved ones who have ascended out of body in this lifetime and all lifetimes that we've inhabited. All the off-worlders, galactics, and celestials. Now, the light energy beings on this planet, with the eyes we have with these bodies, we see 1% of what is. So they're light spectrum. We know some of them. There's red, there's infrared, and then there's frequencies between that. There's violet, and different frequencies up to ultraviolet, and the same with green and blue. But with these beings we don't see, because we don't have the eyes to do that. They come in shapes, colors, sizes, forms, and configurations. They are around. They are here. But there is a group, small group that we're familiar with, and these bodies that we're in are deeply dependent on part of this group. The fairies, the sprites, the elves, the gnomes, the dwarves, the trees, the trolls, the elementals, the magics, earth, air, water, fire, ether, wood, the mermaid, dolphin, whale, Pegasus, unicorn, centaur, and the minotaur. Now ask yourself the body. That's the body. Body, can you survive without air, water, fire, wood, earth, ether? And that's a big no. We would be forced to leave the body if this body didn't get water, if it didn't get air. So we're really dependent on the elementals. You can see why the properties in alchemy, the elementals are so powerful for the body. They're deeply interactive. Now, the ascended masters, right? They have ascended into physical form, have mastered physical form, have ascended out of physical form, hold pure consciousness, God form. We have ascended into physical form. We are in the process of mastering physical form. We are creating our experiences to perfect our creation. Now, the galactics, off-worlders, celestials, over 1,000 species and civilizations travel through the solar system every day. Trillions throughout the universes every day. There is a group that we're familiar with. This is a small group. Pleiadians, Sirians, Arcturians, Andromedans, Felines, Zeta Reticuli, Anunnaki, Nords, Greys, Draco, Reptilian, Golden Pyramid, Avian. This particular group has been assisting us in our evolution, in our enlightenment, in our ascension, freeing ourselves from our own self-imposed bondage and our own self-imposed slavery. Now, the archangels, they're a civilization that vibrate at a different frequency than we do. But the gods within those bodies that they inhabit and the gods within the bodies that we inhabit are one. Their bodies happen to vibrate at a different frequency, so we don't see them like we see each other. but we do meet with them and we interact with them. We have conversations with them, but in the conversation, it seems like, well, I'm just having a conversation with somebody I don't know. But then after that conversation, you get a feeling in your heart mind, right in the center of your chest. It's a good feeling, an enlightening one, and it dawns on you. You say that was an angel, and you're in bliss. We either, they'll either talk with us, be there to help us, be in situations to comfort us, in many different situations across the board. And they have a message, and they've been delivering the message for hundreds of thousands of eons. And the message is, isn't it absolutely magna glorious, splendiferous, super fantastic, spectacular to be alive in these bodies? And it is. It's just that we lose our memories, right, of who and what we are. So we believe we're the body, but that we don't know how grateful we are for the body. Because we always figure this out when we leave the body. Then we go, holy cow. You mean to tell me I spent most of my time in that body in this life that's now done, worrying, stressing, and fearing. I never really was that in gratitude for my body. I was never that in deep thankfulness and appreciation for my body and deep eternal love. I didn't have an intimate relationship with my body. And all the years that went by, I just took it all for granted. It's not a bad thing. It's not a negative. It's an experience. Okay? Some of us don't get it for tens of thousands of lifetimes. Some of us do. That's why we're having the Great Awakening on this planet right now, because more and more are starting to discover that path to internality of who and what they are, and they're starting to appreciate and figure out how important their body really is. So they could surround any one of us at any one time in the tens of millions, tens of thousands. Because of their vibrational frequency, they can hold a large number in a small area. And if you want them to, ask them. Blink of the eye, they'll be all around you, and you will be in bliss. Now, we're all gathered. We're never apart. That's the illusion. In full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, prosperity, abundance. And we're all one, and we're all God, and we're all love. And our God force, love, light, energy is in all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. It continues to grow. It continues to intensify. It continues to expand. It's inescapable. And this is pure, deep, eternal love. We immediately form a white fire circle of light around the equator of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, and this now. This light emanates from the gods that we are, from the love that created us. It is so bright, it grays out the darkness of sacred space. It would take 1,000 billion suns to even come close to its brightness. And we are flooding this planet, saturating, permeating all life, the highest supreme value in the universe. Unending, infinity and beyond. There's no escape. All eventually will be the love. of it and from it. Now we begin to descend above the planet, and we come into full contact with this massive ocean of glitter. And immediately, the ego mind says, "Oh, that's we could have that on Earth." We couldn't. It's very hard to describe it because so we take depictions, we take imagery, and we say, well, how about a grand finale super fireworks display? Not that we've been able to get that close from Earth in the fireworks display. And a super grand finale laser light show. And ballroom globe. Mirrored globe spins, reflects all light back out to everyone. Except this one's 1 trillion times larger, 1 trillion times more intense. You take all of those visual and combine them into one massive crescendo, and that's about as close as we're going to get to describing the ocean of glitter. Now, we're curious, so we go to the reflective points, and we notice these really tiny microscopic mirrors that are perfectly etched. So we enter them, and we discover, imagine the glitter, everything reflecting, all of us, and housed in different forms, experiencing those physical forms, are teaching each other. We're teaching, we're learning, right? And we're learning and teaching. Either or. With all life, all the gods inhabited in all the forms on this planet. In it, on it, above it, below it. This is massive. There isn't anything that isn't teaching it. A rock. Most people think a rock is inert. It is not. It has light. There is a God inhabiting that rock to experience that physical form. Okay. What does a rock teach you? Ask yourself. It might seem silly at first because the ego mind doesn't want you to go there. What about a bush? You might be sitting out, you might have a patio, you might be sitting on the patio, you're looking at the bush. You're really not thinking anything, you're just looking at the bush. I wonder what it would be like to be that bush. And you could be that bush for a brief instant to understand what it means to inhabit the bush. What about a dog, a cat? Right? What about a horse, a cow? What about a bird? What about a tree? I wonder what it would be like to experience that physical tree. And for a brief moment, you'll be able to experience that physical tree. And it teaches us. And it expands our awareness. And it allows us, it gives us the opportunity to go deeper within ourselves to discover the gods that we truly are. You see how? Now we're immediately met with the emerald green flaming healing light of Archangel Raphael. This is a column of light that we created to remind us all the gods that we are within these bodies, that we are the power of healing these bodies and other things. We are then met with the violet, blue, purple flaming light of Archangel Michael. This is the column of light that we created to remind us all, the gods that we are within these bodies, of our omnipotent power, strength, and resolve. We are then met with the white fire. This is a column of light that we created to remind us all that from head to toe, inside and out, we are protected. 24/7, infinity and beyond. This white fire armor, nothing like the armor on this planet, way beyond, emanates from the love that created the gods that we are, which is inside each and every one of us. This is such a powerful, it's the highest of the highest high vibrational frequencies. It can't be penetrated, it can't be affected, period, ever. We are protected 24/7, infinity and beyond. So no dark matter, lower dark matter, survivor matter frequencies, no demon possession, no attachments, none of that. Yet. Only you have the power that if you decide to lower your vibrational frequency, consciously or unconsciously, through hatred, greed, anger, fear, hurriedness, envy, jealousy, revenge, dishonesty, manipulation, you will lower your vibrational frequency low enough to create a breach in your white fire armor, allowing all the lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies to come flooding in. Then there's all kinds of possibilities of demon possession, attachments, and onward. Now, if you do decide to do this, you're immediately met with a double column of light. The first part of this column of light we created, known as the purple transmuting flame. We did this so that we remind us all that we can bring in the purple transmuting flame. We can transmute all these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies into neutral light substance, sending them back to pure consciousness where they are no more. Then we're followed up with the second part of the column of light, the violet ray. We created this part of the column of light to remind us all that we can bring in the violet ray right behind the purple transmuting flame, and we can literally cleanse and purify the area where these lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies were, sealing the breach in our white fire armor, restoring our vibrational harmony to the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal love, gratitude, and peace. We are then met with the golden white pink light. This is the column of light that we created, the gods that we are within these bodies, to remind us all that we are the sun, the sunlight, the sunset and sunrises. We are the oceans, the rivers, the lakes, the streams. We are the trees, the forests, the soils, the skies, the clouds, the mountains, the animals. We are everything. Everything is us. Normally, we've been taught to be separate, right? To be in separation, which is the illusion. So every time we look at something, we look at it and it says, it takes our breath away. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. Look at that, Now, with your awareness, the next time you see any of these, starry lit night sky, rainbow, you look at it and you look at it from your heart mind, you go, that is the God that I am. Because you've never been separate, and you never, ever, ever will, as the God that you are in that body. Everything is you, and you are everything. Whole different understanding. Always through the heart mind, not the head, not the ego mind. We continue to ascend above the planet. Some of us step outside our physical form if we're carrying physical form and hover effortlessly above it. The reason we do this is because it is really fun, and we can. We come into full contact with this massive crystalline light tower. It's larger than the solar system and beyond. We created it. And in the center of the column, we see this massive oblong sphere. In the center of the sphere is a massive golden white ball of light. It is surrounded by multicolored rings of light that seem to go to infinity and beyond. This has created this super bright white cloud, mist, sparkling, electrified, and it's absorbed into our heart mind. Goes right through the center of your chest. And it's like a warm embrace that never ends. Now, we discovered that the golden white ball of light is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest, eternal love. Then comes well-being, gratitude, gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, massive prosperity, massive abundance, never ending. And we discover that all of this is a reflection of the gods that we all are in these bodies. Now, at the top of this column, we designed it so that the golden ocean can come cascading down 360 degrees like it's doing now, 24/7, infinity and beyond. This golden ocean is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest, eternal love. And we're all in it. We're drops of this golden ocean. We also contain the essence of this golden ocean. Can you picture in this global guided meditation call, hundreds of millions of us, on and off world, consciously aware to a certain extent, with all this love, literally, gentleness and kindness, generosity and humbleness, flooding this planet, on it, in it, above it, below it, permeating it, saturating it. You can see that there is no escape of the lower dark matter, survival matter frequencies. It's over. And we see our meditative sphere. It's at center circle. We created this sphere. And remember, the only illusion that we're always confronted with is separation. But we created this sphere over 4 years ago. It holds over 1,800 of our meditations in perpetual motion. 1,800. Every day, sometimes a couple times a day. 7 days a week for over 4 years. For the complete liberation of this planet Earth, Gaia, Arya, and this now. You can tap into that because these meditations never end. They continue to grow, they continue to expand, and they continue to intensify. And whenever you choose, through your heart minds, you can enter all of these meditations, take a bath, a shower, a soak. Acceptance will make you more relaxed and at ease. If self-acceptance comes in a trickle or a downpour, then that's all right for you. Acceptance is the key to releasing all suffering and issues of avoidance or attachment. Allow yourself to accept everything that occurs today. This is not about being a doormat for the world. This is about following your heart with inspired actions all day long and accepting whatever shows up in your experience. Become an acceptaholic who accepts exactly everyone as they are and yourself exactly as you are. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy breath in through the nose and an easy breath out through the mouth. Be still. When meditating, if you experience an increasing feeling of lightness, go with it. Weave it into your body. Ground it into your chakras. It is best to stay centered and integrate your experience than to get lost in the thoughts they produce. The greatest meditators blend heaven and earth at all times with a deep knowingness that they are this connected, infinite source of goodness. So we've meditated for 60 minutes at least today, staying with the thought, letting everything be exactly as it should be. And after we're done, soak in this feeling, idea, and experience through the rest of our day. Take this with you for the rest of your day, into the evening and night and the following morning. We will return here Monday, February 28th, 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation